Did you know there are 8 vegetables that could completely transform the life of anyone living with diabetes? For years, doctors and nutritionists have spoken about healthy eating, but they rarely reveal the hidden truths behind these seemingly ordinary foods. I am Dr. Anna Hope, a physician specializing in metabolic health, and today I will expose what science has discovered about the vegetables that can truly help control diabetes, and the truth will shock you. Before we begin, type in the comments, "I want to know the truth." That will show me you're ready to hear what almost no one dares to say. Because by the end of this video, you'll understand that some of these vegetables may be your greatest weapon against diabetes, but they also hide details that could change everything. When people think of diabetes, their minds usually leap to sugar, to desserts off limits, to the endless discipline of avoiding temptation. That picture isn't wrong, but it's dangerously incomplete, because hidden in plain sight, inside some of the most ordinary vegetables, lie weapons powerful enough to shape the course of the disease. They aren't exotic, nor expensive, nor dressed up as supplements in a bottle. They're sitting quietly in the grocery aisle, waiting. But every one of them carries a dual nature, one face that heals, another that harms. And this double edge is what makes them both indispensable and dangerous. The first on our list is broccoli, so common, so underestimated, that many see it as just a bland side dish. But inside those compact green florets lives a secret. Broccoli is one of the richest sources of sulforaphane, a compound with the uncanny ability to mimic part of insulin's work. In people with type 2 diabetes, sulforaphane has been shown to lower fasting blood sugar, making it almost like a natural regulator. Some researchers have even called it green insulin. Alongside this, broccoli's high fiber content slows digestion, so that glucose drips gradually into the bloodstream instead of crashing in like a flood. For patients, the difference can feel dramatic. A woman once described how her post-meal crashes, dizziness, sweating, confusion, began to fade after she started eating broccoli regularly. Her glucose monitor showed smoother curves instead of sharp peaks and valleys. For the first time in years, she said, she felt she was living with diabetes instead of being hunted by it. But even here, shadows linger. Broccoli, raw and eaten in large amounts, contains goitrogens, substances that can interfere with thyroid function. For a diabetic, whose metabolism already hangs by a thread, this extra disruption can be dangerous. It's rarely discussed in glossy health blogs, but the risk is real, and preparation is critical. Steamed gently, broccoli retains most of its beneficial compounds. Boiled until soft, much of its power is lost. It isn't just what you eat that matters. It's how you treat it before it reaches your plate. The second vegetable is spinach. For generations, it was marketed as a symbol of brute strength, thanks to cartoons and cultural myths. But its true strength lies in something much quieter and far more vital for those with diabetes. Spinach is one of nature's densest sources of magnesium, a mineral involved in over 300 enzymatic processes in the body, many of which directly affect blood sugar control. Research consistently shows that people with higher magnesium intake have lower rates of insulin resistance. In other words, spinach doesn't just feed you, it rewires how your body handles glucose, and its benefits stretch further. Spinach is packed with lutein and zeaxanthin, antioxidants that act like invisible shields for the eyes. That's no small thing. Diabetic retinopathy is one of the most feared complications of the disease, leading many down the path of blindness. Patients who eat spinach often speak of subtle improvements: less strain when reading, clearer night vision, reduced burning after hours on a screen. For them, this humble leaf becomes a silent guardian of their independence. But like broccoli, spinach conceals a hidden warning. It is rich in oxalates, which can crystallize inside the kidneys and form stones. For diabetics, many of whom already battle declining kidney function, that danger is amplified. Imagine believing you're protecting your health with a daily green smoothie, only to find yourself in agony from kidney stones. It's a cruel irony, but one that too many overlook. The lesson is bitter but necessary. Even the most celebrated superfoods are double-edged. The third vegetable is pumpkin, Sweet, bright, comforting. At first glance, it seems more like a treat than a therapy. Many diabetics avoid it instinctively, convinced that its natural sugars will betray them. But the truth is far more complex. Pumpkin is rich in beta-carotene, the pigment that gives it its orange glow. In the body, beta-carotene becomes vitamin A, protecting vision and strengthening immune defenses. But its deeper role lies in its fight against chronic inflammation, the silent accelerant of diabetes. Inflammation erodes blood vessels, damages nerves, and pushes the disease forward. Pumpkin, in its quiet way, pushes back. Animal studies have even hinted at something almost unthinkable. Certain compounds in pumpkin may stimulate partial regeneration of the pancreas's beta cells, the very cells destroyed by diabetes. The idea is not yet proven in humans, but the possibility alone is enough to shift how we see this humble vegetable. What if the food we fear could actually help repair what is broken? And then there's satiety. Pumpkin fills the stomach, calms hunger, and helps prevent the endless grazing that can sabotage blood sugar control. For those wrestling with weight gain, a near constant battle for type 2 diabetics, pumpkin is a quiet ally. Some have reported losing weight more steadily simply by replacing refined starches with roasted pumpkin or light pumpkin soups. But here too, danger lurks. In concentrated purees or thick soups, pumpkin's carbohydrates become rapidly available, spiking blood sugar instead of controlling it. What seemed a faithful ally turns traitor in an instant. Even context matters. When paired with proteins or healthy fats, pumpkin behaves gently. When eaten alone, it can sting. Patients who believed pumpkin was always safe often learned the hard way that the truth is more complicated. So here we stand, with 3 vegetables that appear innocent yet wield enormous power. Broccoli, spinach, and pumpkin are not just foods. They are double-edged tools. They can steady blood sugar, protect fragile eyes, calm inflammation, and ease hunger. But each carries hidden risks, waiting silently for those who treat them carelessly. The diabetic who uses them wisely finds balance. The one who consumes them blindly courts disaster. And this is only the beginning. Because if just 3 vegetables reveal such a disturbing mix of light and shadow, what secrets are waiting inside the 5 still to come? Could they hold even greater powers? Or are their dangers deeper, darker, more difficult to control? One thing is certain. The next vegetable on this list has an effect so surprising, so disruptive, that it could forever change the way you see diabetes itself. After the first 3 vegetables, each balancing promise with hidden peril, we now enter deeper waters. These next foods seem simple, even forgettable, but their stories prove once again that nothing in the fight against diabetes is straightforward. They are praised as allies, yet they hide traps that can undo the very stability they seem to offer. The 4th vegetable is kale. For years it has been crowned the king of superfoods, filling health blogs and juice bars with glowing praise. But for diabetics, kale's reputation is more than hype. Its rough, dark leaves contain extraordinary amounts of insoluble fiber, slowing the digestion of carbohydrates and flattening the glucose curve after meals. It doesn't just keep sugar levels steady, it buys precious time, protecting the body from violent swings. Kale also offers alpha-lipoic acid, an antioxidant that has been studied for its ability to ease nerve pain. For those living with the electric stings of diabetic neuropathy, the idea of a leaf offering relief is nothing short of astonishing. Yet kale can betray. Raw and consumed daily in excess, it overloads the stomach, disrupts the absorption of iron and calcium, and may contribute to anemia. One patient, a middle-aged woman determined to heal herself naturally, blended kale smoothies twice a day for months. At first she felt energized, but gradually her strength faded. Blood tests showed iron deficiency. Her hair thinned, her skin paled. Instead of becoming stronger, she was weakening. For a diabetic already fighting fatigue and blood sugar instability, this was a dangerous downward spiral. Kale had given, but it had also taken away. The 5th vegetable is okra, or lady's finger. Slim, green, and often overlooked, It hides a remarkable trick. Slice it open and you find its mucilaginous gel, sticky, almost slimy. That same gel, when eaten, coats the intestines and slows sugar absorption, creating a more gradual release into the bloodstream. This is not folklore. Studies confirm okra's ability to reduce post-meal glucose spikes. In traditional medicine, people even soak whole pods in water overnight, drinking the thickened liquid in the morning as a natural tonic. Patients swear by it. One man described how his morning glucose numbers dropped by nearly 30 points after weeks of drinking okra water. For him, it felt like magic, but he made a deadly mistake. He began cutting back on his prescribed medication, convinced okra alone could save him. Within weeks, his blood sugar shot to dangerous heights. Headaches, constant thirst, blurred vision, the signs of uncontrolled diabetes. He ended up in the ER. His dreams of a natural cure shattered, and okra's risks don't stop there. Its heavy fiber can overwhelm digestion, causing bloating, diarrhea, even dehydration. In a diabetic body, already vulnerable to electrolyte imbalances, that stress can become dangerous. The very pod that seemed so gentle revealed itself to be sharp-edged. The sixth vegetable is eggplant. Glossy, purple, and often associated with Mediterranean cooking, eggplant is more than a culinary delight. Its flesh contains soluble fiber that swells in the gut, slowing glucose entry and keeping hunger at bay. For diabetics trapped in the cycle of cravings and overeating, eggplant acts like a brake. Meals last longer, satisfaction deepens, and the temptation to snack fades. Weight control becomes less of a battle. Eggplant's purple skin holds anthocyanins, antioxidants that fight inflammation and shield fragile blood vessels. Diabetic arteries, constantly under siege, desperately need that protection. But here too lies a hidden toxin, solanine, an alkaloid that in high doses can cause nausea and stomach upset. Most people never reach that threshold, but the risk is a reminder. Even comfort foods carry a shadow, and this brings us to a story that haunts the edges of diabetic communities. Whispered, half-warned, rarely spoken aloud. A man in his 50s, newly diagnosed, grew weary of doctors and pills. He wanted freedom. Searching online, he found glowing claims. Kale would cleanse his body, okra would balance his sugar, eggplant would purify his blood. Convinced, he abandoned variety and discipline, filling his days with nothing but these three vegetables. Breakfast, kale smoothies. Lunch, boiled okra. Dinner, grilled eggplant. At first the change thrilled him. His glucose readings dipped modestly, his weight fell, his energy lifted. He told his friends he had found the cure. But one night, after a large vegetable-heavy meal, his body turned against him. His hands trembled, sweat poured down his skin, his vision narrowed. He collapsed before he could reach the phone. By the time the ambulance arrived, his blood sugar had crashed into a severe hypoglycemic episode. He survived, but the lesson scarred him. Vegetables have power, yes, but blind faith in them is deadly. That story echoes a broader truth. There are no shortcuts, no absolutes. Kale, okra, and eggplant can support the body, can ease symptoms, can shield against damage, but they are not miracle cures. They are tools, and tools can injure if misused. For every patient who finds balance with them, there is another who learns the hard way that too much of a good thing is still too much. Now, with 6 vegetables revealed, the pattern is undeniable. Broccoli, spinach, pumpkin, kale, okra, and eggplant. Each offers hope. Each carries risk. Together they form a tapestry of light and shadow, warning us that every choice matters. Every plate can tip the scale toward health or harm. And yet, the story is not finished. 2 vegetables remain. 2 common foods so ordinary you might dismiss them, yet their secrets run deeper than any uncovered so far. They do more than steady sugar or fight inflammation. They challenge what you think you know about food, about safety, about diabetes itself. What if one could protect your eyesight while secretly setting a trap? What if the other could guard your heart but quietly sabotage your medicine? These last 2 vegetables are not just entries on a list. They are symbols of the ultimate truth, that in diabetes, nothing is ever simple. And once you see them clearly, You may never look at your next meal the same way again. 6 vegetables have already revealed their pattern. Hope on one side, risk on the other. They have shown us that nothing in the diabetics world is simple, that even the most common foods can wear a double mask. And now we arrive at the last 2, the final pieces of the puzzle, the carrot and the red cabbage. 2 vegetables so ordinary they almost fade into the background of the grocery aisle, yet their secrets are anything but ordinary. They represent the sharpest expression of the truth we've been uncovering all along. Every ally has a shadow, and every shadow has the power to change everything. The 7th vegetable is the carrot. With its cheerful orange glow, the carrot is one of the most recognized and beloved vegetables in the world. Children crunch it raw. Chefs glaze it in butter. Families toss it into soups without a second thought. But beneath its sweet and harmless appearance lies a story that matters deeply to anyone with diabetes. Raw carrots are packed with fiber, which slows down digestion and ensures glucose is released gradually into the bloodstream. Instead of sugar surging in like a wave, it trickles in, steady and controlled. For someone fighting daily battles with unstable blood sugar, this difference can feel like the line between exhaustion and energy, between control and chaos. On top of that, carrots are one of the richest natural sources of beta-carotene. Inside the body, beta-carotene is converted into vitamin A, a nutrient vital for vision and immunity. And vision, as every diabetic knows, is one of the most vulnerable parts of the body. There are countless stories of small but meaningful improvements after regular carrot consumption. A man who noticed less eye strain while driving at night, a woman who found her eyes recovered faster from long hours on a computer screen. No miracle cures, but subtle changes that offered reassurance that maybe, just maybe, the progression of blindness could be slowed by something as simple as a carrot. But here's where the shadow creeps in. The carrot's glycemic index changes depending on how it is prepared. Crunch it raw, and it behaves as a stabilizer. Boil it for long periods, mash it into a puree, or cook it into a thick soup, and suddenly the sugars become quickly available. The same food that once slowed blood sugar now fuels a spike. Imagine the betrayal of believing a bowl of carrot soup was safe, only to watch your glucose meter climb rapidly upward. And there is another twist. Eat too many carrots, and the skin can take on a yellow-orange tint, a condition called carotenemia. Though harmless, it can mimic signs of liver dysfunction. For a diabetic, constantly alert to organ damage, the shock of seeing skin color change can trigger panic. Am I failing? Is my liver collapsing? One patient recalled thinking, only to discover the culprit was her daily habit of carrot juice. Even here, the carrot plays its double role: comfort and confusion, safety and fear. Now comes the 8th vegetable, red cabbage. Vibrant, almost regal with its deep violet leaves, it often appears more decorative than essential, but its color is a warning of its true power. That purple hue comes from anthocyanins, antioxidants that fight inflammation with ferocity. And inflammation is one of diabetes' cruelest weapons. It gnaws silently at blood vessels, nerves, organs, eroding the body from the inside. Red cabbage, rich in these compounds, becomes a shield against that invisible fire. Studies suggest that regular consumption of red cabbage improves insulin sensitivity, lowers markers of inflammation, and even supports cardiovascular health. For diabetics, this matters more than most realize. The greatest killer is not sugar itself, but the strokes and heart attacks that follow in its wake. By lowering blood pressure and supporting blood vessel integrity, red cabbage reduces those risks. And its benefits don't stop there. It stimulates enzymes in the liver that aid detoxification, giving a weary organ some relief. For those juggling multiple medications, this hidden support can mean everything. But as with every vegetable in this list, the shadow cannot be ignored. Red cabbage consumed in large amounts causes bloating, gas, and stomach discomfort. But the darker danger lies in its interaction with medication. Its compounds can interfere with absorption, blunting, or distorting the effect of drugs. For a diabetic who relies on daily medication, this interference can create chaos. Blood sugar that refuses to stabilize, lab results that make no sense, a creeping doubt about whether the treatment is failing or the food is sabotaging. Consider the case of an older man who began eating red cabbage daily after reading about its benefits. At first, he felt better, lighter, less inflamed, more energetic. But after a few weeks, his glucose readings became erratic. His doctor adjusted his medication twice, confused by the sudden instability. Only later did they connect the dots. The red cabbage was interfering with drug absorption. The food he thought was saving him was quietly undermining his treatment. And so, with carrot and red cabbage, the circle is complete. 8 vegetables, each with a gift, each with a curse. Broccoli, spinach, pumpkin, kale, okra, eggplant, carrot, red cabbage. Together, they are not just a list of foods, but a revelation. They show that diabetes is not managed by blind trust in healthy eating. It is managed by knowledge, caution, and respect for the double-edged nature of even the most innocent foods. For the diabetic who discovers this truth, the effect can be overwhelming. At first there is relief, the realization that tools exist, natural and accessible, to help control the disease. But that relief is shadowed by unease. Every one of these tools can cut both ways. There is no absolute safety, no single savior, only balance, only vigilance. Carrot and red cabbage embody this balance perfectly. One feeds the eyes, the other guards the heart, but both, misused, can betray. They are not answers but questions, not miracles but riddles. And in their duality lies the final message. In diabetes, nothing is ever as simple as it seems. Now the list is complete, and yet the greatest mystery remains. Because knowing the 8 names is not enough. The deeper truth lies in the connection between them, the hidden thread that explains why they matter. Why these 8? Why not others? What do they reveal not just about food, but about the disease itself? That truth, darker and more unsettling than all the rest, will be revealed in the conclusion. A truth that will not only change how you see vegetables, but how you see diabetes, your meals, and your future. Now that all 8 vegetables have been revealed, the truth is unavoidable. This was never just a list of foods. Broccoli, spinach, pumpkin, kale, okra, eggplant, carrot, and red cabbage are far more than everyday groceries. They are weapons, tools, and sometimes traps. Each one delivers fibers, antioxidants, and nutrients that can steady blood sugar, protect eyes, soothe nerves, and defend the heart. And yet each one also carries a warning, a hidden edge sharp enough to wound the unwary. And here is the final revelation. There is no miracle vegetable. No single food will cure or control diabetes on its own. The true power lies not in worshipping one item, but in understanding balance, preparation, and context. Even the healthiest vegetable, taken blindly or in excess, can turn on you. Diabetes is not a disease that forgives illusions. It punishes extremes, whether too much indulgence or too much faith in a single natural cure. For many, this truth is uncomfortable. People want simple answers, quick fixes, miracle foods. But as these 8 vegetables show, there are no shortcuts without consequences. The reality is both more demanding and more liberating. Because once you accept the duality, you gain real control. You stop chasing myths and start making informed choices. You stop being a victim of your plate and become a strategist of your health. Think of what this means. You can use these vegetables to your advantage, pairing them wisely, preparing them correctly, eating them in balance. Broccoli can flatten sugar spikes if steamed lightly. Carrots can protect your eyes if eaten raw in moderation. Red cabbage can guard your heart if integrated sensibly into meals. But if you ignore the shadows, overcooking, overconsuming, or depending on them alone, the same vegetables can betray you. And this leads to the darkest, most important truth. If even vegetables, the very symbols of health, can have 2 faces, then nothing in diabetes is ever as simple as it seems. Every bite is a decision. Every meal is a test. The question is never just what you eat, but how you use it. So here is my challenge to you. Look at your plate differently from now on. Don't see only the bright side of foods, nor only their risks. See both. Because only when you hold light and shadow together do you see the whole truth. If you've stayed with me until this point, it means you're seeking that truth. Not the easy stories, but the reality that can actually change your life. So prove it. Write in the comments, "I choose the truth." That will tell me you're not chasing empty promises but are ready to face diabetes with open eyes. And don't forget to subscribe, because what we uncovered today is only the beginning. There are more secrets about diabetes, darker, stranger, more hidden, that you cannot afford to miss. Remember, these 8 vegetables are not answers. They are warnings. They are opportunities. They are proof that the line between medicine and poison is thinner than anyone wants to admit. And now, the question lingers, heavy and unshakable. When you sit down to your next meal, will you see just another vegetable, or will you recognize the hidden secret that could change everything?